Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting for June 18th, 2026. It's 7:08 p.m. I'm Mike O'Reilly, the chairman. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
I'm Smargalino, alternate.
Ryan Condon, Commissioner.
Bruno Maini, Commissioner.
Nicole Lupo, alternate commissioner.
Catherine Gallagher, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
And who do we have online? Visitors?
I have one attendee,
One. Okay.
but it's not one of us.
Let's do general public participation. At this point, if anyone online or here would like to address the commission on any issue that is not on the agenda tonight, come down. Just state your name and address, and if you can
Thank you, Mr.
fill it in, also on the form eventually.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Steve Kirsch, 35 Applegate Lane. For the record, I'm a member of the Board of Finance, but I'm here solely as the property owner of 35 Applegate Lane. I just learned recently, like within the last day or so, that in a recent meeting that you all had, you once again extended the blasting permit for 125 Gardner Road. And I don't frankly understand why. And I don't understand why, as the closest property owner to that site, I was not notified, nor was anyone else on Applegate Lane. 3 years ago, that blasting permit was issued with a 2-year and no extension. That's what we were told at the time. It was extended last year for another year, again, with no notification to the residents on Applegate Lane. I should point out that my property is the closest property to 125 Gardner Road. I get a monitor, I get a call before any blasting is done, and I get a monitor placed on the ground the day of the blasting because of where I live. To not be notified is an oversight that I don't understand, and I'm really, frankly, troubled by it. Basically, I don't want any more extensions. I don't know when exactly. Again, I haven't had a chance to research your minutes or why you made this decision. I don't know how long it's been extended for. I'm asking you, please don't extend it again. And if you're going to take any action or have any discussion, formal or informal, if it's going to be at this meeting, the neighborhood needs to be notified. We've lived with this situation. I've been on Applegate Lane for 33 years. I'm an original homeowner, and we've put up with both legal and illegal blasting long enough. This town made commitments to us, and I don't understand why it's not being honored. And I hope that going forward, you can put an end to this and not extend it any further. Thank you.
I think we extended the excavation and fill permit, and I think it was for 6 months. And I think this is the end of it. The actual blasting is separate. We don't control the blasting.
We do in the sense that, I'm sorry to interrupt. We do
allow
in the sense that we permit it under zoning, but they have to get a blasting permit by the state that's executed by the fire marshal.
And are the neighbors notified?
Yes, they are notified of blasting.
Not of the
We're
extension.
called on the day before the blasting. We last had a blast sometime toward the end of May. There has been a gap. But if you're extending,
The
if
permit.
you're telling me you've extended
The permit.
ability to work but not blast,
No, we extended the ability to work, which would include blasting.
okay. So therein is the problem, okay? So again, the agreement stipulation that you all had with the developer was that there would be no extensions of the original 2-year permit. And now it's been extended twice. So please, no more, and please let us know if something else is going to take place.
Question for you. Is it just the blasting that's the issue or is there other?
Well, I mean, I will tell you that back in June of 2025, I was driving down Garden Road and I hit a rock, tore my tire to shreds. And when I got out and saw what happened, the rock was clearly a blasted rock, all sharp, edges and stuff. It wasn't a stone. I assume it came off their truck. I can't prove it. We hear the what I call it, not jackhammering, but I call it pile driving. They do that from time to time. The noise is quite loud.
Is that during work hours or is that?
It is, yes, it is. I mean, I work from home. And my wife's also home. So we hear it when it's being done. I will say the blasting during these few years, they have followed the rules. They have been calling, they have been putting monitors out. I think there was 1 or 2 that they missed, but that part is all of our pictures, the whole house shakes. And the last one in May was especially strong. The gentleman who was retrieving the monitor said as much. He said, yes, this was a very big one. But I think my real issue is, A, we should have been notified. We should have had a chance to comment. When you go back to 2023, Applegate Lane was included in blast zone. It was expanded. I know that was in the minutes at the time. So again, I don't know why we weren't notified. And again, I just learned about it, so I'll go back and read the minutes and the other public record, but I was in the building and thought I would let you know.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. So if we extended the permit, does that automatically extend the blasting permit? It does. Okay.
Because that was part of it. You guys permitted blasting and crushing on site as part of the
Okay.
excavation and fill permit. So they were asking for an extension to the excavation and fill permit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there are trucks coming up and down. I mean, they can't start operations till a certain hour. That doesn't stop the trucks from coming, driving up Garden Road and into the property, from their property in Pepper Street and up. So, yeah, there's trucks. But to me, it's enough of the blasting. They promised to end the blasting and build the homes. And that's what the town should be making them do, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to our public hearings. So the ZCA 2026 550 Main Street. Wait a minute. That public hearing has been tabled until July 16th.
Yeah, they requested at the last meeting to not be heard until July.
Second public hearing, ZCA RA 2026-01 that has a ZCA RA and an SEP, which they're not prepared for tonight.
They requested not to present tonight and that they would present at the July meeting.
Or if anyone's here to comment on this application, we are going to allow any comments. Anyone online that would like to comment on this application? None? Anyone in house? None? Then we're just going to table this until, when are we tabling it until?
July
16th.
16th.
All right, so that would go till July 16th, both of those. All right, now we have 3 public hearings for text amendments. We have RA 2026-02 1051. Do you have the hearing public notice on all 3 together or separate?
All 3 separate. Do you want me to read them separately or just read them all at once? And are they?
All right, we could do it more at once.
They're technically different.
A little
All
different.
right, we'll do file 1051 first.
All right. In accordance with CGS 8-70, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, June 18th, 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting, and in-person attendees located in Monroe Town Hall. RAA 2026-02, file 1051, petition application for regulation amendment to amend the zoning regulation section 2.2.1, 4.1.3, 5.2.5, and 8.2, 6.15, 7.15, 10.2, schedule of required off-street parking to comply with the mixed-use development requirements pursuant to PA 25-1. Notice was published twice in Connecticut Post, once on June 5th and again on June 12th.
Okay, Kathleen, do you want to read the exhibits?
Exhibit number 1 is the application and text amendments prepared by the town of Monroe. Exhibit number 2 is the referral letters to the adjacent municipalities and to the adjacent COGs. Exhibit number 3 is the rural referral response from Naugatuck Valley COG saying that there was nothing significant. Exhibit number 4 is an updated version of the text submitted by myself based on comments that we had received from reviewing bodies.
Okay,
This is the one that's black and white, yes?
It is, but you can actually kind of tell,
I have it. I printed it for you.
like weirdly enough,
It's easier.
red printed in black.
So anything in red is the changes, anything in red underlined is what changed from the last time I submitted this to you guys, which it should have been in your, it's
Thank you.
all 3 of these text amendments are being created to satisfy the requirements or what we're allowed to do under HB 8002, which is now Public Act 25-1. This particular one has to do with what we are now permitted in our commercially zoned districts, and that's the language in the text. So in our commercially zoned districts, it states that we have to permit transit-oriented housing, which is defined as 100% residential in the entire building from 2 to 9 units. So a total of 2 to 9 units is considered transit-oriented housing. Or mixed-use development, which is defined as commercial on the bottom and residential on top. The act got approved. And then there was a revision to the Public Act that was in front of the legislative bodies this past session. It passed in the House, but not in the Senate. In that bill would have been several other revisions, one including a year in extension to do this, which is required to be done by July 1, but also included changing the or I just talked about to and. So right now, the way it's written is we have to permit transit-oriented housing or mixed-use development in our commercially zoned districts. We are hanging our hat on the or, and we are only offering one. We originally talked to subcommittee as if we had to do both because we knew it was in the new regulation, the new Public Act, the new House bill that was being developed and given to the state. We assumed it was going to pass. It passed in the House, never got voted on in the Senate. So then we went back. So we had talked a little bit internally into several commissioners, and I think we agreed that we wanted to do the mixed use development, commercial on the bottom, residential on top, as compared to permitting 100% residential. I will tell you that I'm assuming this is going to pass next year, in next year's session. So we may have to revise it at that point, but we're not going to do anything until we have to. So the way this is structured is it's taking our mixed use regulations out of the portion of the regulations for special exception permits and is moving them so that they are permitted via a site development plan. And our site development plan is them coming in and just proving they meet the zoning regulations. So they still have to meet setbacks, they still have to meet height requirements, they still have to meet coverage, they still have to meet health department, they still have to meet all of those items, but their use is permitted as of right. The way that I am currently interpreting commercially zoned lots is our B1 districts, our B2 districts, our SB2, and our LORs. There is an argument to be made that our I1 is a commercially zoned lot because we allow some commercial uses in that zone.
Let's not make that argument.
The state has not given us definition on that. We're assuming that case law may come out in the next couple of years. And if it changes the way that I'm currently interpreting it, we'll deal with that then. But right now, the way this is written is for those 4 zones. So if we quickly want to go through the actual text, what we did is we took out mixed use development. We put in mixed use development as a definition. We took out 2-family dwelling and residential apartments above commercial uses because we're using the state terms. We are now defining multifamily dwelling as a building containing 2 or more dwelling units. Because again, the way that the state is written, we're trying to reflect that. My original text to you had accessory definitions in the business district, the Stevenson business district, and in those 2 districts. I have since then removed it from that, and I have put it under the mixed use development. So if we go to our mixed use development, it notes the entirety of 8.2 entitled residential apartments above commercial uses is hereby deleted and is now relocated to 6.15. So that's what I was talking to you about. It's taken out of the special exception permit, and now it is solely in 6.15, which is our supplemental regulations. Number 1, again, we're changing some of the terminology, and we're also making sure people know that this is coming out of Public Act 25-1 so that they know that we are meeting those conditions. I'm using our original residential apartments above commercial uses text as my base, and then just adding to it the locations. Now has to take out the requirements about having direct street frontage and access to Main Street. Now it just is, the only condition is it's in a B1, B2, LOR, or SB2 district. If we go on to residential apartments shall be rental units with a lease period of no more than 12 consecutive months. We cannot no longer require it to be rental units. They can be rental or they can be owned. Accessory uses were added related to accessory recreational social facilities, things that would be an accessory use to mixed use development, just making sure if somebody does want to add those extra amenities, they have the availability to do that. If we go to number 6, we are taking out, we believe it is now illegal to require density. We think it's illegal now to require bedrooms, and it's illegal now to require size. So we have to permit them to come in with those units that they want. Number 7, affordable units. This was changed in order to no longer be rental, and now it's rental and affordable. So we're just using the same language that we used in other locations to make sure that we both have everything we need in here for both rental and owned units that meet the affordable requirements. I'm skipping a couple pages forward to 7-1-5, which is our site plan standards application review procedures. Under public hearings, we're writing, except for applications for mixed use development, the commission may in its discretion require a public hearing. You cannot require a public hearing for this site development plan. So typically our site development plan applications, you can require a hearing if you so choose. That is not going to be the case for the mixed use. We cannot require a public hearing. The use is not for debate. And they basically just have to meet the zoning regulations. You don't have the SEP availability to do any additional special conditions like we have in the past, because again, it has to be done via what the state calls a summary review, but what we in our local regulations call a site development plan. If we go to our use table, that's just taking out the special exception permit requirements and instead is replacing them with the site development plan requirements. There is a parking portion of this that is a sister regulation. That is the next one, and we'll get into parking at that point. But the gist of this is mixed use development is now permitted as of right under a summary review. So as of right kind of has the connotation that they can just do it. They still have to come and prove they're meeting their zoning regulations. They still have to come in front of you, but it is permitted under a site development.
So it has to be in one of those zones.
Yes.
It has to be 9 units or less.
No, that
Limit on
that-
units.
there's a little bit of a debate. There's a little bit of a debate that the new legislation that came out actually defined it as 2 to 9 units. That didn't get passed. So
So it's open then.
I think the spirit of it is it will, and I'm assuming that's going to get passed next year. If you guys want to, I think we have the leeway to put it in now, and we could just.
If someone wants to come in and do a mixed use development outside of this regulation,
Well, we were never permitting mixed use outside of our B1 and B2 zones. So I didn't write anything in here to permit it any other zones because we as a town
already
didn't
only
permit it.
in those zones.
We were only permitting them in B1 and B2 zones to begin with, and then anything south of Norwood Street. That's what the original
Yes.
zone was.
Right. You guys have questions other than what I?
But let's go back to the 2 to, is that an actual B or a flood?
This is why.
Okay, that's gonna be issues in this building.
I think it's-
Thank you.
was a
You're the best.
Get fast.
I think there's some leeway that if you wanted to restrict it to 2 to 9 units now, you could. It was in the regulation. It was in the housing bill that was put in to define it as 2 to 9. So I think if we ever had a legal issue, we could make the case that that was the spirit of the regulation was 2 to 9 units. But the way it's defined right now in the current Public Act, it doesn't have a limit, which is why I believe then they tried to clarify it in the new Public Act.
We struck density, does that mean, like, we struck that? Does 2 to 9 kind of fall under density?
That's why it's gray. If you guys want to do it, I'm comfortable doing 2 to 9. If you don't want to do it, and the acknowledgement is that we only allow 2.5 stories anyway, we have a coverage requirement, we also have septic in town. That's going to have limiting factors as it is. But then it's 2 to 9 units, everywhere. If you wanted to permit more than 2 to 9 units, I would have to write a separate regulation that would be like a special exception permit.
Well, I would leave it like this, and if they want to go over 9, they're gonna have to argue it.
I have to write something to that effect. Do you know?
They come in and want you. Someone comes in and wants it. Once we pass this,
I think it's worth putting it
they
in.
would have to.
We would have, so if you go to your chart at the end, basically what we would have to do is put mixed use development, 2 to 9 units, site development plan, and then we'd have to create a new use that's mixed use development, 10 or more units, and a special exception permit.
So right now, if someone was to come in, they could only do 2 to 9. And if they ask for more, staff would just say no, or?
Now,
Right.
Well, if we approve it, once we approve this.
If we approve it the way it's written right now, they can come in with no cap. That is how we
Okay.
believe the original housing bill was written.
Okay.
We think maybe the spirit of it was 2 to 9 because the new housing bill that didn't get passed clarified it as 2 to 9, but that was never adopted. So it's a little bit of a gray area. I would be okay if you guys wanted to limit it to 2 to 9. If you want to limit it to 2 to 9, but also allow more than 9, we need to create a new category and definition and regulation for the 2 to 9, and we need to change that language.
We just do 2 to 9 and that's it.
We could just do 2 to 9.
Let's do that.
Do that, leave it at 2 to 9. And then if somebody wants to go over that, you could also do it.
They would have to do a text amendment and then,
MDD.
well, if they,
Doing.
correct, if they
Yeah.
if they are in the Main Street Design District, they could do an SDD.
Perfect.
All right,
Um,
let's do that. You all right with that, everyone?
they could do they still wouldn't need a special, like, let me think through this.
Need a,
Our SDDs require special exception permits.
yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I'm okay with that. All right, so let me,
Do you want to approve it as amended?
yes, but we have to be very clear on what the amendment's going to be. So under mixed use development, I'm going to say a development containing both residential and non-residential uses in any single building with residential dwelling units located on floors above ground floor residential,
Ground floor business.
ground floor non-residential. Development containing residential and non-residential uses in any single building. I'm going to say with 2 to 9 units, 2 to 9 residential units located on floors above ground floor non-residential uses. Okay, so a development containing both residential and non-residential uses in any single building with 2 to 9 residential units located on floors above ground floor non-residential uses.
Great. Any other discussion? All right, then the chair will entertain a motion. Oh, wait a minute, we have.
We have to go to deliberations,
And we also need to sit everybody.
and we also need to open the public hearing.
All right, let's go to the participation. If there's anyone here.
Do you want
to address the
For
commission?
the record, Nicole and Dominic are both seated. Because
Yes, but staff likes to know who's seated for who when they write the meeting minutes.
Do you have to seat them? It's three of us.
Well,
There's
yeah,
no tiebreaker.
Dominic will be,
Might as well.
Not to be seated, thank you.
you'll be seated.
Nicole's
for,
last meeting, maybe she wants to be.
We seated a little bit.
I'll come here for my.
All right, so next up to be seated would be Dominic Panicia, who's absent, so then Nicole Lupo would be up. She
For Rob.
would be seated for Rob. Dominic Smerolino would be seated for
Leon.
All right. Now we can go to public participation.
Yeah.
anything?
One online would like to
Still have an odd
participate.
number.
And any questions or comments, please raise your hand. See anybody?
Put your hand down, Bill.
Does this mean that there would be
You got to come up to the mic.
no public hearings or?
Yes, there would be no public hearing.
Yeah. If you do the mixed use development with,
Name and address for the record, please.
So would it be staff approvals?
no, they still have to come. And I am going to make you say your name because we have meeting minutes. You can say it from there.
You say it from there, Bill.
I have to go up.
Say
You can say it.
Bill Beecher of Monroe Sun.
That's fine.
Perfect.
The,
Yes, they still have to come in front of the commission like a typical site development plan. So in our business districts, let's say a retail use, we can use actually Dollar General. Dollar General was here for a site development plan because they were a retail use in a business district. So the assumption is the use is good. So they just had to prove to the commission they met the zoning regulations. It would be the same thing for that.
just that the hearing wouldn't include an approval of the use or a special permit for the use because it would be as.
There is no hearing. We cannot require a hearing.
Hearing.
No public hearing.
There's no public hearing.
So the meeting would be public though, where they would.
Yes.
Say.
So it's a public meeting.
No public, people could get up and speak. Right, okay,
Well, that's a dream.
okay.
Sorry.
Hey, all right. Is there anyone else online that would like to comment on this? Seeing none,
We get in trouble for that.
we'll go back to deliberations. Any further?
Just comes from
Wait a minute,
here.
We're not deliberating now. We're just moving
No,
on.
yeah,
We're going to close the hearing. Any questions? Hearing closed. All right.
Ready for the next one?
Commissioner Condon, would you like to read the?
Can we just vote on this real quick or no?
No,
We gotta do it in deliberations.
REA 2026-05 file 1052. They want to do it one.
In accordance with CGS 8-70, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, June 18th, or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting and in-person attendees. RAA 2026-03 file 1052, petition application for regulation amendment to amend the zoning regulation section 2.2.1, 3.4.9, 3.5.4, 3.6.4, 3.7.9, 5.3.8, 6.1.18, 6.9.1, 10.2 to comply with the parking requirements pursuant to PA 25-1. Notice was filed in the Connecticut Post, published in the Connecticut Post twice, June 5th and June 12th.
Thank you, Commissioner Condon. Kathleen?
Exhibit number 1 is the application and revised text by the town of Monroe. Exhibit number 2 is the referral letters to the COGS and adjacent municipalities. Exhibit number 3 is the updated draft text by the town and myself. Exhibit number 4 is the referral response from Naugatuck Valley COG, which stated there was no regional impact.
So 52 you should have in front of you in red.
Yes. There is a requirement that in residential developments that are 16 units or less, so the way we're describing it here is the opposite, which is 17 or more, but 16 units or less do not require parking.
They can park on the street. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
There is one exception to that rule, which is that they are in what we call a conservation and traffic mitigation district. That is a horrible term. So you will see that the first thing in this text is changing that term to a parking management district. So a conservation and traffic mitigation district as permitted pursuant to Public Act 25-1 as may be amended. We're calling it a parking management district. So just so you know, we're calling it a parking management district. So we are creating, which you will see at the next meeting in July. I just needed a little more time to do it. But it's finished now and you have that application in front of you actually tonight at your desks and we will hear it at the next meeting. We are creating a parking management district. So this text is to allow parking as of right for that 16 or less units, and then being very specific about what's required for 17 or more units, and putting in place the language for the parking management district so that when you do approve it, hopefully at the next meeting, that just goes into play. The parking management districts are allowed to be 2 separate districts. They can be up to 4% of the town, and they can be contiguous to each other. We were able to draft it in a way that we got all of Main Street's business districts located in the conservation management zone, in the parking management zone. And we got the southern business districts on Monroe Turnpike. What we weren't able to get is Stevenson Business District, because on Monroe Turnpike, we have our commercial corridors are really far to the north, which is Stevenson Business District, and then really far to the south on the town line. So we weren't able to connect those two. And if we only had to pick one, I picked the one on the south because I think Stevenson Business District is going to kind of work itself out. You also hope that people aren't dumb enough onto DOT roads to not require and not provide any parking to their renters. One would hope. So that is what this is. So this is saying C1119 for parking requirements in developments containing 17 or more residential units or located within a parking management district. Not less than 50% of the required parking spaces shall be provided within a garage, parking structure, or garage incorporated into residential buildings. So that is in our multi-residence districts. We have the same thing in our age-restricted residence districts and the same thing in our recreation residence districts. We were not able to put the part, and we were able to do it in our housing opportunity districts. So that same language is repeated everywhere. In our affordable housing districts, we didn't have the same language for the garage, so we mirrored that. And then if we go to Article 6, that talks about what's required. So for residential developments of 17 or more dwelling units in any zone, the applicant may submit a parking needs assessment in accordance with this section. So they are also permitted to do something called a parking needs assessment if they believe that their parking requirements are different than what we're requiring. A parking needs assessment shall be prepared at the expense of the applicant and shall include an analysis of the summary. And it gives several requirements that all came from the state statutes. And it needs to be approved by the commission, and it cannot have an adverse impact on public health and safety. Developments including 17 or more residential units located within a parking management district has a clear minimum parking requirement from the state. So this was given us to the state, which says that one space for each studio or one bedroom dwelling unit, 2 spaces for each dwelling unit containing 2 or more bedrooms, or the number of parking spaces recommended by the parking needs assessment submitted pursuant to section 6(1)(18) of these regulations. So they can either do what's required, or they can do what's submitted as part of the parking needs assessment, which still needs to get approved by the commission. The only thing that's different from what the state's requiring us to do for the parking spaces is that we had 1 bedrooms being 1.5 parking spaces. So we had studios needing 1 parking space, 2 or more needing 2 parking spaces. We had 1 bedrooms needing 1.5 parking spaces. They're changing that to 1 space. So that's the only thing that really changed. So it was actually pretty in alignment to what we have already had. And then you'll see the chart at the end, which really just spells out those changes in a chart form. So it's easier for people to see how that works as compared to reading text.
Bananas.
So we're not voting on this until we get the maps.
No, you can vote on it now. I put the language in it so that when so let's say someone comes in right now and does it, there is just no adopted parking management district for them to do it. So we would have to, so you have 1 month where we would have to do it. But the parking management district is ready to go. These need to technically be adopted per the state by July 1. Again, that legislation that came out, we all thought we were getting an extra year. And then
Any
Did not.
discussion on this?
So if we don't do this, people can build housing on 111 and expect the parking to be on like 111 or on Route 25?
On the street.
Just on the street, right?
I mean, I guess if DOT permits it, I mean, now we're outside of our jurisdiction because it's DOT land. So is DOT gonna let them park on there? I'm gonna say not. But we don't have to require parking, and it's not for us. The legislation was not adopted for us.
Yeah, it's
It's for areas that have parking garages
Plus,
and buses and are next to other routes and people that don't have cars and take trains and do that. It just was not written with us in mind. So luckily we were able to deal with those parking management districts, and we were able to incorporate most of our commercial zones.
Any other questions? All right, anyone from the public like to comment on this application?
thank you, Bill.
Online? Seeing none. And nothing from us, then we'll close this hearing. Next, REA 2026-05-04, file number 1053.
In accordance with CGS 8-70, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, June 18th or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting, and in-person attendees located at Monroe Town Hall. RAA 2026-04, file 1053, petition application for regulation amendment to amend the zoning regulation section 2.2.1, 1.110, and 3.1.211 to regulate permanent and temporary metal storage containers. Notice was published in the Connecticut Post on June 5th and June 12th.
Thank you, Commissioner Condon. Okay, Kathleen?
Exhibit number 1 is application and text change by the town of Monroe. Exhibit number 2 is the referral letters to the neighboring municipalities and COGS. Exhibit number 3 was a response from the Naugatuck Valley COG stating they had no significant regional impact. Another small item in this public act said that previously the state statute said that we have to treat mobile homes in the same way that we treat single family residences, as long as they are 22 feet wide. That was the requirement. This public act removed the 22-foot requirement for it. So we still have to treat mobile homes like they're single family residents, but they can be of any size. They do have to be, though, manufactured mobile homes, which has a specific definition to it by the state, which is mobile manufactured home, a single family dwelling built to the federal manufactured home construction and safety standards, also referred to as manufactured home. So because they got rid of the requirement, but they had that specific regulation, we wanted to make sure we updated our regulations to reflect that definition, and then to also use the same language throughout our entire mobile home portion of our regulations. So that is all this is. So this doesn't really change anything of actual substantive value. It's really just making sure that our language matches the state statutes and that we're consistent through our entire zoning regs.
Okay, any other questions?
Does that mean tiny homes are now allowed in town?
If they meet the federal manufactured,
The tiny, I just remember like years ago, residents, I think they went viral or something, and I.
Yeah,
remember
we get
residents being
questions
like,
about it
"Can you do
all
a
the
tiny
time."
home?
So they're
Cool.
maybe.
They're cool.
They're cool.
Maybe if you do it as your single family residence. We don't permit it in our RF1, RF2 as detached dwellings because it's an accessory dwelling unit. And that's the most questions we get is tiny homes related to accessory dwelling units. You could do it in an RF3, but I don't know if they meet the definition of federal manufactured home construction and safety standards. So we would need the building department to review it, and they would be able to help us, or they would know honestly, it's outside of my realm of expertise. So we would lean on them to know what certificates we had to get and things of that nature, and they would have to make that determination for us, which they would.
Any other questions?
Tiny homes were such a craze at one time. You don't even hear about it anymore.
Yeah.
It still is. We get questions about them, not as people's main homes, but.
Oh, yeah, they
more
were
of like
on their property
tiny homes.
versus. Yeah.
Hold up beds and it's crazy.
Anyone from the public like to comment on this application? Please raise your hand. Anyone online like to comment on this application? Seeing none. Any other questions, you guys, before we close this hearing? Nope. Hearing closed. The last hearing, Mississippi 2026-1674, which is 103 Monroe Turnpike, has been tabled until July 16th as well. We have no site development plans, so we can now move to deliberations. We have the three text amendments that we just heard. Let's start with the first one, 1051.
I make a motion to approve RAA 2026-02, file number 1051 with
Revisions.
the revision as discussed.
Thank you, Commissioner Marini. And second, Commissioner Lupo. Call the roll, Stein, am I right?
Regular, yes?
Then yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Lupo, yes.
Okay, that passes. We'll move along to the second deliberation on RA 2026-03, file 1052.
I make a motion to approve RAA 2026-03, file number 1052 as drafted.
All right, we have a motion by Mayini, second by Lupo. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Smirgalino, yes?
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Lupo, yes.
Okay, the text amendment passes. We'll move to the third, RAA 2026-04 for file number 1053.
I make a motion to approve RAA 2026-04, file number 1053 as drafted.
Thank you, Commissioner Mayini. Second, Commissioner Lupo. Any further discussion? We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Smirgalino, yes?
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, yes.
Lupo, yes.
All right, we've passed all three.
I do want to acknowledge a big thank you to our town attorney who worked with me to make sure that these were in compliant with the regulations, also made sense for the town. And to IMEG, MetroCog hired them to review our text amendments. So for all of the municipalities within MetroCog, and they were extraordinarily helpful as well. So I had a lot of really great assistance to make sure that this was really looked through with fine tooth comb and that we really understood what we thought the regulation said, what we thought the spirit of the regulation said, and what we were comfortable defending as a town from a legal perspective if we do get sued. So I feel like we're very prepared.
Okay, we have meeting minutes. 6/4/26.
Absent.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as drafted.
Okay, Condon has a motion.
Second?
Smirgalino, second.
Well, it's only
Any
you
discussion?
three.
You guys can just abstain, yeah.
Thanks.
No discussion here.
Okay,
Smirgalino, yes?
Condon, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayne, abstain.
Lupo, abstain.
Okay. Meeting minutes of 6/4/26 are passed.
Damn, son.
No planning and zoning matters, no correspondence, no chairman's report, any commissioner reports.
I have something.
Go right ahead.
So just to verify, as far as signage in the windows, non-illuminated, just like regular signs, there's no regulations, right?
No, I think there was, and I think we stayed away from some of the smaller, wasn't that? Didn't they send out a letter to everyone?
That had to be the illuminated ones. He's talking about non-illuminated windows.
Because I mean, we have buildings where their entire windows are signage.
It's,
Yeah, like every
Massage
convenient
parlor,
convenience store.
every liquor store.
but then we also have,
Is that what you're referring to?
Well, where I'm going with this is, and I would like to get your opinion, everybody. I'm going to pick on one particular building, because there's many, but O'Reilly's the new one. Beautiful building, but every window has a paper sign in it, giant paper sign in it. It looks like a Stop and Shop circular. I just think it looks,
Is that on all their buildings everywhere?
I don't know. So I'm just wondering, like, the building looked beautiful and now it looks,
That makes it not look beautiful?
yeah, to me. I mean, that's why I'm asking other opinions.
Close enough to it.
It looks like a window treatment.
I haven't paid attention close enough.
I drive by it 30 times a day. It just looks like a window treatment.
Window treatment, like blinds.
Tint.
They're like, 99 cents. So spark plug, blah, blah, blah. They're like this big. It's like,
Yeah, and again, I mean, to not pick on one building and to add, like, right, most of the liquor stores in town, you almost can't see through the windows because they have all their signs in their windows. Most of the gas stations, you can't really see through their windows because they have all those same signs.
Well, what's
The massage parlors have like paintings on all their windows, so you can't see through their windows.
Do you know what the status is, Kathleen, of the window sign?
in my opinion, our regulations are silent on it.
Okay.
And the friction we've had in the past is there's places like who's by Dairy Queen, Hartford
For healthcare.
Healthcare.
Mhm.
They have signs that it's like, use this door, or it's like it's signage. Sometimes it's wayfinding signage.
They
But
paint the glass.
they also have smaller signage that are advertising, but it's all like thoughtfully done, and it's, in my opinion, not like a visual nuisance in the way that we're talking about how some of the other buildings are with their, really big stuff. So it's like, it's one of those things where current staff came into all of our positions, all of these window signs already existed. If you want us to crack down on it, we're willing to, but we'd have to treat it in the way we did the illuminated signs, where it's like, we got to do it across the whole town.
That didn't go over very well.
Well,
I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
So the answer is I don't believe it's,
I don't. I mean, I get it. I understand.
well, I mean,
but it's a lot.
it's silent.
I think our job, part of our job here is to keep Monroe looking nice. And to me, it's the opposite. It's just trashy to me. I mean,
So again, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like O'Reilly's is a new building, so maybe you're hearing about it because people are noticing it. But if you truly drive around town and look,
Every building has it.
Monroe, you've not been able to see in their windows, and they've been here for how many years? Like, so to say keep Monroe, it's been that way. That's been some of those. I'm sure Glenroe has signs in their window that have been there since.
I guarantee you take some of those signs out of their window, they're faded.
The new gazebo was built. Like, I mean, like they're truly staples. And I mean, I don't like it necessarily, but I also feel like there's other things that we should be making our staff focus on than
yeah, I mean, it's a
throwing
lot.
rocks through windows, for lack of a better term.
And the O'Reilly ones, I don't even think are all that bad in comparison to some of the other ones in town.
And we don't really want to be known to start cracking down on businesses in town either.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Putting more restrictions on
It's a bad look for
businesses.
businesses coming into town.
It's a
It's a real
I mean,
bad.
outside.
Bad look for the
signs,
town.
all of that stuff.
It's trash.
Doesn't even the realtor,
We've already-
does Gaetano have, like, his spot has, I think, stuff on the windows? Like, I feel like it is most of the businesses have the windows.
You're hearing this from a lot of people, or is this just from you?
Or did you just drive by and see it at O'Reilly and look at it because it's a new building?
Both.
Okay, yeah.
It was a beautiful building. Now it's not.
Oh, wow. That's ludicrous, whoever's telling you that. That's
I tell you,
absurd.
I have.
Well, I just wanted to express my opinion and get yours. So really
No,
noted.
I get it. For me, I think you can't, like Kathleen said, we can't single them out. So you can't just go to them and be like, hey, you got stuff. If we do it, it's gotta be
Listen,
every business that has stuff in their
The
windows.
town is growing a lot. Do we want to keep it a small, charming town, or do we want to look like Milford or Shelton or Bridgeport?
I think,
You guys have to
that's an
decide.
absurd statement, in my opinion, because I don't think we look like any of those towns.
And I don't think it's
And I could prove it 1,000 times over.
it's the stuff on the window that does it. Like I'm saying, I think
It's-
if you drive around and actually look at other businesses.
I just question this.
In windows.
My only question to you is, what part of Monroe looks like Bridgeport?
I'm saying we're going down that road.
I actually don't think we are at all.
Okay. Well,
But I'm just asking you a question. What part of Monroe looks like Bridgeport?
it's not a specific part.
Okay, so it's not.
All right, well, it doesn't sound like there's a consensus. All right, good idea. Bring it up anyway. All right, and the other,
Billboards next.
We,
We do have billboards.
Newtown. I don't think they're in Monroe.
That's in Monroe just before you get into Newtown. I mean, it's right on the line.
all right, any other commissioner reports? So
I do.
go right ahead.
Today is I'll be honest with you, it's a pretty sad day. We're losing, obviously, as you guys know, one of my favorite people to ever walk this planet. And tonight is Nicole's last meeting here. And it's a huge loss for us. You guys know everything she does for us. Any of you that were at the Lincoln Reagan dinner know that I thanked her more than anybody else at that meeting. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for us, especially me. I mean, without you, I'd be in big trouble. Now I'm in big trouble. But just thank you so much for all your help and everything you've done for us. So
No, you're welcome. I thank all of you for welcoming me
Well, I
and
want to
helping me
second that
on
also.
board.
Thank you for all the help you've given the commission.
You're welcome.
And
Mention the-
sell your house in Shelton and just come back to me.
Well, we do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We had great plans for you.
Yes.
Should you ever return?
You never know what the future holds, but right now, just moving a town away, bought a house there and you never know what'll happen, but I thank all of you very much.
There might be some apartments coming to town with no parking spots.
Park anyway.
I too can park on DOT property. I too can park on DOT property.
But I will also echo that we get a lot of comments from residents and other people that you have brought a lot of balance to the board and how thoughtful your questions are and how much they appreciate it. So
Thank
yes,
you.
myself and staff will
Thank you.
also miss you as well.
Definitely made it the norm to go out and drive by residents' houses and look at, and actually see what's going there, because I don't know how much that was happening before you got here. And then I know, for me personally, you inspired me to do that. So
I do love a good site visit.
thank you for that.
Welcome.
You dragged me to them, so thanks.
Anytime.
Great having you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, Kathleen, do you have anything?
Just a reminder, everybody, we only have one meeting in July and one meeting in August. So please look at your stuff. Please, if you have any questions for me or meetings on application stuff and stuff like that, can't do it across an email to everybody. That's quorum and doing other things. But if you have individual clarification questions, anything I can do to help you be more prepared for the meetings, let me know, because if we push it, we got to push it to, a whole other month. And then we're back to our regularly scheduled meetings in September.
Joe, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mike, second Lupo.
Second.
We are now adjourned 8:05 PM.